Welcome back to the show. Brian Keating, Hannah Hoover. Let's talk about OSU on Friday night at Boone Pickens Stadium. They had Tulsa come to town, which they had won 10 straight in that series. Roll the highlights. You already know what happened. Oklahoma State did not beat Tulsa. Tulsa came to Boone Pickens Stadium and led the game 19-3. They would win it 19-12. Oklahoma State tried to rally late in the fourth quarter, gave themselves a chance, and actually had a chance at a kind of a Hail Mary, kind of a lateral type play that got them down inside the 10, but that wasn't going to work and didn't. And OSU loses their 11th straight game against the FBS. Mike Gundy was asked after the game about his job.
Those aren't decisions that I make, and my decision is to do exactly what I mentioned earlier. And get these guys and keep moving forward and go on down the road, and that's what we do. We've certainly been in a different situation a lot of years in a row, but currently we're not in that situation.
So this is Mike Gundy's 21st year. He's had some seasons and some situations along the way where have been uncomfortable, and you know, the hot seat kind of came, but nothing like this.
Nothing to this degree. I was in the end zone next to the student section, and second quarter you're hearing fire Mike Gundy chants. Yeah. And that's really hard to hear just because I think of all the success he's had over the last 21 years. And I mentioned it before, there's been ups, there's been downs. You just said the same thing. So it's hard to hear that just as a person and a human sitting there and rooting for someone. But you look at this game against Tulsa and you think, can OSU win again this season? And that's just a real reality that I think everyone is kind of asking themselves. This is not a question we would be asking, though, if we had a different quarterback behind center. Haas Haney is a real quarterback. He can go back there and get things done with his legs. He's athletic. And I think that you win this game against Tulsa if you have Haas Haney as your quarterback. No doubt about it. Would you beat Oregon? No, you wouldn't have beat. We talked about that. That was not a game they could have won. Yeah. But we aren't talking about Mike Gundy's future at OSU if Haas Haney is at quarterback. And I know that that's just unfortunate luck and he got injured and there's nothing you can do about that. But I think they really had a better shot of being competitive in the Big 12 with him behind center. And unfortunately, we just find ourselves in the situation where all eyes go back to Mike Gundy, and it's hard. It's hard to watch.
Look, this is my 14th football season covering Oklahoma State. There've been no bigger supporters of the things that Mike Gundy has done over the course of his entire tenure than I have. When it's been good, I've certainly been one of the people to say so. But it is over. It's over.
It's hard, yeah.
I mean, it just is. They're chanting "Fire Gundy" out of the student section. Look, it's a fireable offense at Oklahoma State to lose to Tulsa at any point. First time to lose to Tulsa since 1998. It is a fireable offense to lose to Tulsa at home. First time they've done that since 1951. They lost 69-3 at Oregon a couple of weeks ago. It's the worst defeat for Oklahoma State since 1907. They lost 52-0 to Colorado at the end of last season. His team quit on him. They lost every conference game last season for the first time ever. They've lost 11 straight games against the FBS, and I assure you they will not be favored in any game the rest of the season. They are likely to lose the rest of those too. It is over. It is over. I hate to sit up here and say that, but it is over. And look, Mike Gundy's been a tremendous ambassador for Oklahoma State. He's done a tremendous job. He will have statues and the field will be named after him or something along those lines. But it is over for this era of Oklahoma State football. And it was on full display for the country to watch on Friday night. That is an unacceptable level of the football program that is running around in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And something has to change. And I thought Mike Gundy deserved this season to turn it around, to figure it out. It is clear that has not happened. It's just not good enough, and changes are required at Oklahoma State.
That's a laundry list it's hard to listen to. I'm not going to lie to you.
It is very difficult to read after all the success and 21 years. But it is true. This program is right now the worst in college football. The worst Power 4 program in college football. That's just a reality. Here's what's coming up for Oklahoma State. Starts on Saturday at home against Baylor. They are a 17.5-point underdog at home against Baylor. Baylor is 2-2. By the way, the team they just lost to had previously lost to Navy and New Mexico State and was the much better team in Stillwater.
Yeah, it's difficult for sure. I will say on the note of 2-2 with Baylor, look, they had a close one with Auburn. They had a close one with ASU, double overtime for SMU. Robertson threw for over 400 yards against Auburn and SMU. So look, they're 2-2, but they played some really hard teams. So I'll give that to them. This could get ugly. It could get ugly after watching this defense guard Tulsa's backup quarterback, knowing that what Sawyer Robertson can do with 400 yards. Could get ugly.
I'm picking it 41-6. I don't think it's competitive. I'm not sure this team can be competitive many times the rest of the year. It's over, and it was on full display. We all watched it happen on Friday night.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen for the last calendar year.
That's rough.
It's disappointing, but it's the reality in Stillwater.